Namaste all. Very good evening. So, how are you doing today? Uh, so, how was it so far? I think it is 7:30 p.m. in India and 8 a.m. in CST. Today, this webinar is about lead generation, especially for uh, freelancers and agencies like us. So, today we are going to learn how to generate leads on scale uh, at wherever the stage you are. Yeah, so today with us Yash Shah, who is the founder and CEO of ClientJoy and LinkJoy. So let's welcome him. He's already here.
Hey,
Namaste, Yash. How are you doing?
namaste, Vishwanath. I'm doing great. Yeah, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good too.
Awesome, man. It's
Actually,
my
first thing actually to say, you've been doing a lot of webinars and live streams, and you are here and there everywhere actually,
okay.
and I can
Okay.
see a lot of energy there. It's are you not going to tired or not going to take rest?
when you yes, is one of the so I'm from India, and so one of the things that our Prime Minister says is that when you're passionate about something and you work hard, you don't
Yeah.
feel tired, you feel satisfied. And so that's kind of one of the so I'm feeling satisfied and I'm feeling great doing this.
Yes, yes, of course. He is our inspiration, and you are another inspiration, especially in our LTD community.
Right.
And to introduce myself, the relationship between me and Client Joy. Actually, I've been customer of Client Joy from 3+ years now.
Yeah.
I purchased Gridil when Client Joy is formerly known as Gridil.
Yeah.
So when it was launched and pitched on, so I purchased. Cradle, and ever since that actually I have been seeing the constant improvement on that.
Yeah.
And the most thing I like about ClientJoy is like support from you
Yeah.
or your team. Actually I have interacted with a handful of people, and everyone received very well.
Yeah.
And actually I didn't initially I was facing some issues, bugs, and my some lack of knowledge about the tool and all. Yeah,
Right.
your team was very supportive. After that actually I haven't faced a lot of issues. It was
Mhm.
stable, reliable, and what's a very smooth actually. And
Thank you.
you
Yeah.
have been
Thank you for saying
really,
that.
yeah. It's not like some I'm promoting it, but that's it's like a customer testimonial, because you have been
Thank you.
what's a releasing a lot of features also. I didn't use much
Yeah.
yet.
Yeah.
See, when I knew LTD's launch for those particular area like client portal or something, then I think I have this already in ClientJoy. I'm not using it.
Yeah.
Why should I buy this?
Correct.
Yeah. So
Correct.
uh, let me introduce you again to the
Yeah.
audience.
Sure.
Namaste all. So this is Yash Shah from ClientJoy and LinkJoy also.
Yeah.
So it's like joyful, right? So he will teach us. He actually is expert in lead generation and cold
Yeah.
emails and agency growth, because
Mhm.
from he started from agency, maybe freelancer also, I don't know. So agency, then became SaaS founder. So he knows all the ups and downs in agency business.
Yeah. Yeah.
So and his as his journey taught him a lot of lessons.
Mhm.
He will teach us his experience, like how to scale it, how to generate leads and all. So
Sure.
welcome, Yash. Thank you so much for your time. Yeah, I know you are
Absolutely,
busy.
yeah. No, no,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
anytime, yeah. Thank you for having me, for sure.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you, thank you. So please introduce yourself and yeah, from your perspective,
Sure,
and
yeah.
yeah, we can roll the show. Yes,
Oh, absolutely. So I'll just share my screen. Just let me know whether you can see that yet. I so typically make introductions part of the presentation itself, so that it kind
yes.
of follows
Oh,
a structured format.
effective.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes,
Are you able to see the screen?
yes. I can share the screen and I share it to audience also.
Perfect. Yeah. So primarily, so firstly, thank you, Vishwanath, for having me. Thank you for those words. So from the support standpoint as well. So I've had the opportunity to use a lot of softwares during my freelancer agency days, and even now, I use a lot of products. And we evaluate a lot of our competitors as well. So we try out almost every other CRM that exists out there. And one of the things that stood out between great products and good products was not a function of product, actually was a function of the support, and the quickness with which people responded, the empathy that they had, and the understanding of the issue that we were facing that they also had. And so that's one of the key reasons why one of the founding principles, or one of the first principles that we have at ClientJoy, is that no matter what happens, we'll have amazing support. We are always available, and we respond to people, understand what their challenge is, and then try and kind of work together to figure out a solution. A lot of times, what happens is that people look at support as if we are sitting across from each other, right? So you have your interest, and then I have my interest, and both of us are essentially like negotiating a deal, or coming to some agreement, and I want to protect what's mine, and you want to protect what's yours. And so most people, and sometimes products and even founders, have realized that they fail to understand that when you're supporting a customer, when you are making sure that they're successful, actually both of you are on the same team, right? Both of you are on the same side, ensuring that when the customer or the user is successful, that by default makes the product successful, and so on and so forth. So that's been one of the fundamental thought process. And so, but here today we're going to talk about how can agencies and freelancers generate more leads. And before I talk about that, I'll just take a couple of minutes and talk a little bit about me. The reason why I do a little detailed introduction than most people do when they are doing similar sessions is because it's important. So everything, so there are in business, I believe that there are no laws, there are only principles, and principles can apply in different context for different businesses at different stages for different people in different geographies, right? And so it's important that when for whatever I'm going to talk about for the next 20 or 30 minutes, that comes from my context, and they were true for my circumstances, right? And so what you can extract from them was some amount of principles that we sort of followed when we used to be an agency before. And so that's why I do like a little proper introduction, so you know that this is the context from which I am coming from, right? So I owned and ran an IT service company, scaled it from a 2 people team to a 55 people team. Both Anupama and I, Anupama is my co-founder over here, both at ClientJoy and LinkJoy. And the IT agency, or the IT service firm that we had, it offered SaaS, fintech, and e-commerce web and mobile application development. During those 5-6 years of scaling that agency, we learned a lot of things about running a business. We won a couple of awards as well. And right now, I run ClientJoy, which is a B2B sort of a vertical SaaS product. I'm an ex-investment banker, and I am a mechanical engineer by education. So the journey has been very
Education.
different. So from mechanical engineering to investment banking to starting an IT service company, and then running a SaaS product. But that's kind of a fair bit about me, right? So that's kind of the things that I've done in the past. And so a little about ClientJoy. So we help over 4,000 agencies and 9,000 freelancers in 90 plus countries grow their business and manage their clients. And we've got a couple of badges from G2 for high performer for summer and fall, and users lovers badge as well. We are rated average 4.8 on 5 on Google, Capterra, and Trustpilot. And we have preferred partners with Stripe, PayPal, and Payoneer as well. Using ClientJoy, you can manage your complete sales pipeline visually, along with email integrations for cold email sequences, scheduling, and getting a public meeting booking page as well. You can e-sign documents, including proposals, quotes, contracts, and proposals, quotes, and contracts. You will make sure that you get paid on time with invoices and payments, and you can manage clients by offering a white labeled client portal as well, right? And ClientJoy, of course, integrates with over 3000 apps that exist out there in the world using Zapier, Pabbly, Integromat, Integrately, Sync, Spider, and Connect It is the latest one to be added to the roster. But so you can use any of those six IFTTT platforms and build workflows between ClientJoy and any other application that exists out there as well. And then if you are inclined towards an engineering or a developmental mindset, then you can also use our APIs. Our APIs are also publicly available. And so here's what we're going to talk about today, right? So first we'll answer the question: do you even need more leads? And then some things that you should have prepared before you start generating new leads. What are some of the lead generation activities that you can do? Some key hacks, and then I've got some free resources for you towards the end of this session as well that you can grab right away, right? So let's talk a little bit around lead generation, right? So most agencies do not realize that offering good services, like just offering good services, is a necessary condition for your success, but it is not a sufficient one. So a lot of, and we made this mistake early on in our business journey as well, where we said that, hey, if our services are reasonably priced, and if you're able to offer great value to our clients, and if we are able to maintain a great relationship with them, then we should get enough inbound interest in and of itself, through referrals, through more work from existing clients, through events, or whatever the case may be. But then we painfully realized over the first 6 to 8 months of our journey that offering good services, right, and that includes everything that you do from an operational standpoint, offering good services is just a necessary condition. You need to offer good services for success, but it is not sufficient one. You have to position your agency. You have to identify what your ICP is. You have to be present where your ICP hangs out. You have to be a good salesperson. And we'll talk about a lot more of this as in when we talk about lead generation hacks. But and you also have to be a good accountant, a good person to be able to build great teams, and so on and so forth, right? And so please remember that offering good services is a necessary condition. It's not a sufficient condition, right? And so as I
Not
shared with you
enough.
as an agency owner, sorry, you were saying?
No, no, that's what that is not enough.
Yeah,
Like,
that's not enough, for sure,
yes,
for sure,
actually, I
man.
feel that, yes.
Yeah. And so as an agency owner or a freelancer, you have to be, as I shared with you, a good salesperson, a formidable problem solver, a disciplined finance person, and an inspirational team leader as well. And it can get a little intimidating if you think about becoming all of those things at once. But then a lot of times there's no limit on the amount of time that you have, and so you can slowly and gradually get there, and you can slowly and gradually become all of these four people over a period of time. And let's answer the most interesting question that's as a part of this presentation, right? Do you even need more leads? So the intuitive answer is always yes, but it should not be so, right? So everybody is looking to generate more leads, but they're not realizing whether they actually need to generate more leads or not. Because most agencies, if you think about it, most agencies or even freelancing practices are limited by the resources that they have, rather than their sales teams or outreach teams, right? And so so the amount of people who are actually doing the fulfillment. So let's say if you're an SEO agency, or if you are a mobile app development agency, or if you're a performance marketing agency, you can serve only the number of clients that your team can serve at once. And you're not necessarily limited by the sales and outreach team or the leads, but you're actually limited by the amount of clients that you can serve at once. And so think of it this way, that more leads in your sales pipeline, it means more resources that go into qualification, more time spent in scoping up, even everything that comes along with it, right? You have to have multiple conversations with the clients. You have to negotiate with them. You have to figure out what they want. You have to identify a pricing structure, and it is an extensive process of closing a particular lead or closing a particular client. And more often than not, you are not even able to close a client, right? So 4 out of 5 leads are not closed, and so the amount of time that you spend in doing all of those activities is also significant. And so you typically don't think of the cost of sales as a cost to the company, because you think that sales is and it is a profit center, but you don't think about cost of sales. And you may want to start considering thinking about that as well. Now, moving to the next aspect, which is three key things before generating sales qualified leads, right? So SQLs, as we call it. So three key things that you need to do internally before you start generating sales qualified leads. And in the next step, we'll learn about how will you actually generate those. But so the first thing is clarity, right? So make sure all the people who are involved in the sales process from your side, which is you or the salesperson or the qualification person, or the person who's preparing all of your assets or whatever the case may be, make sure that all of them on the same page. The second is processes, and the third is assets, and we'll talk about each of these three, right? So clarity, as I already shared, make sure that everyone is clear. What I strongly recommend is that you create an internal knowledge base, which is where whenever, so here's something that we used to do, right? So whenever a new event happened in the organization, whenever a case happened that had never happened before, we would document it. We would document it as to why did it happen, how did it happen, how was it solved, how was it closed. And so you essentially end up creating an internal knowledge base that as and when your organization grows, it becomes richer and richer, and it's a living and breathing document, right? So this sounds like over preparing, but it is super important, right? Documentation is where most agencies fail. And so your team should always have an answer, if that's possible for you to give. And as and when you scale, you should also realize that as an agency owner, you will not be available in all the calls or all the meetings at once. And it will happen, the case will happen where one of your salesperson or one of your account managers is going to overpromise, and your team will under deliver. And you need to have documentation in place to make sure, to so that everyone knows how to handle those, and more importantly, how to not to let it happen again in the future. The second aspect is creating assets, right? And so one of the things that is super impressive for your prospects or your leads is the turnaround times that you have. So the amount of time that it takes you from them asking something from you to the time them getting it. So if they're asking for proposal, and if you have already created your templates, if they're asking to get a draft contract of something, if you already have templates created, if they're asking for testimonials, if they're asking for case studies, if they're asking for a deck, and if you already have all of them prepared, then you can just send it out at a moment's notice. And that is super impressive, right? Because now you have an edge over some other vendor that your prospect is talking to, right? At any given point of time, a prospect will talk to anywhere between 4 to 5 vendors. And so you have a very clear edge, right? You're very responsive, and you're able to reach out to them with the answer to that question. The other thing that we also have to realize is that everybody is their own universe, right? The center of their own universe. And so and so when you are there to answer their questions in a very comprehensive way, through the assets or through documentation that you've already created, you are basically going to the center of their universe, and then you are making your presence felt, right? And so understand what questions your potential leads or prospects could have, and then create those assets around that, and that kind of will separate you from the pack, and will make you stand out a little bit as well. The third bit is creating processes, right? Having internal processes, and that's super important as well. So create all possible user journeys or all possible client journeys or customer journeys for different acquisition channels. So a customer that you acquire, that is let's say a high ticket customer from LinkedIn, should have a very different journey than, let's say, another low ticket client that you acquired via some answer that you wrote on Quora or something like that, right? And so and so there has to be a very big difference in the way that you approach both of those sales or both of those conversations with those prospects. And so map them out. Just for the sake of clarity, there are free tools available. You can use a free account of Miro, or you can use draw.io, which is a tool by, I think, Google. You can also use something like Notion, or you can use Nimbus. Nimbus, I hear, is available on LTD, another great tool, which you can check out as well, right? So that's those are some of the things that we've understood about what you need to prepare before you start generating leads. Now we actually come to the meat of the subject, which is where we are going to talk about some basic systems, right? So I'm not going to go into details into things that work everywhere and everyone should do, right? So cold calling, social media pages, digital assets, referrals, these are some of the things that you should absolutely do for sure. Cold calling, apart from helping you close sales, or apart from putting you in touch with your prospects or leads, cold calling is super important because it will tell you what your clients' questions or what your prospects' questions are, and whether you are positioned in the right way or not. It is the best way to reach out to and have a conversation person to person, and understand whether your services are something that they perceive to be necessary for them to procure, right? And so you can follow a fairly simple framework, which is a band framework. I've done a longer video on that. I'll be posting that in the comment over here wherever this live is, so that you can go and check it out. It's a 5-6 minute video which you can know, but here's a 20-second shorter version. So what you want to do is, when you're cold calling or when you're having first or second conversation, you want to follow a framework of budget, authority, need, and time, right? So you want to ask questions that are not direct questions, but you want to ask open-ended, indirect questions that will tell you whether this prospect has the budget for it or not, whether this is the correct authority that you should be speaking to, which is super important if you're doing B2B sales, business to business sales, whether they need your services or not, and whether this is the time where they are looking for these services or not, right? And so you should craft some open-ended, indirect questions that you should always have in your question bank, and use those during your cold calling. Another thing is pick up on signals in terms of the responses that they give you as well, right? So if you go to, as an example, if you head over to ClientJoy right now, we used to say that ClientJoy is a client management platform, which is technically the most correct thing that ClientJoy is. It is a client management system or a client management platform. However, if you go to our website right now, it will say prospect to payment platform that is better than Excel and simpler than HubSpot. The reason why the title says that is because from the calls that we have with our prospects and leads and clients and users, this is something that we realized is much more resonating with our customers, rather than the technically correct term of it being a client management system or a client relationship manager, right? And so so the terms and the keywords will be given to you when you're having actual conversations. So social media pages, obviously digital ads, referrals, I'll not go into details. These are some of the things that you should do. Referrals, I'll just talk about a little bit. So you should always be asking for referrals. In case if you feel like, how can I ask for referrals, or how can I ask for more business, or something to that effect. So think of it this way. So if you feel a little bit of shame in asking for referrals, think of it this way, that shame is something that is personal to you, which is causing a loss to your business. Your business is a separate entity which is dependent on you making the wise and the correct decisions for it, right? And your shame is causing your agency or your business losses. And so if you start thinking about from that perspective, that your agency is essentially just a business, which is a non-individual business, which is a non-person, but it is an entity. If you think about it separately, then you are more of a guardian for that business. And as a guardian, you should make sure that your personal priorities are always taken care of later than the thing that you are guarding, right? So you always want to look at your business first, right? And so let me also very quickly talk about the content. And so here's what we used to do, right? So we used to, so when we so even now we do this for ClientJoy, but what's more relevant is what we used to do when we were an agency. Is that we'll go to Quora and we'll search questions that people have around mobile app development, or around Android apps, or around building SaaS products or fintech products or e-commerce products, and so on and so forth. So we'll figure out what are typically some of the questions that our prospects have, and then answer them on our blog, and then answer them in our videos, and then answer them in our assets. And essentially it's just about writing answers to questions that people have, right? So that's something that you should do for sure. You should also look at generating lists of people and then sending them out. I've done a separate video on how to build list of cold emails, and what are the tool stack that you could use, and how you could follow that process as well, which is also something that I'll link over here. And then events, right? Network with people, attend events. In an agency's case or a service provider's case, um, purchasing services is not a transaction. Purchasing a product could be a transaction. Purchasing this pen could be a transaction, but purchasing a service is never a transaction, because services is a business that happens between people, right? And so the relationship is much more important than the transaction. And so you look for avenues where you can start building relationships with people, and events are a great place to do that, right? Here are some of the hacks, and we'll talk about all of these 6 things in the next slides. And so the first thing that you want to do is you want to identify channels that will offer you disproportionate growth. What I mean by disproportionate growth is that the output and the input are not proportional to each other. So, as an example, one of the things that we would do is we would find partners out there in the industry who were serving the same target market but who are not competing with us, right? So, as an example, if we were building someone's mobile application, then it was very, very clear that they are at some point of time also going to look for some digital marketing agency. And so we will partner up with a digital marketing agency, right? Similarly, if someone is getting their website developed from some other agency, it was also very clear that at some point they'll need a mobile app. And so what we would do is we would identify agencies that are up and down our value chain, right? And we'll partner up with those. And so then what happens is you have it's not a predictable, it will never build a predictable sales pipeline for you, but the amount of effort that you put in building these partnerships, and the amount of output that you'll get is super disproportionate to each other, right? And so that's something that you should definitely try. Another thing is thought leadership. Position yourself as a thought leader. There's an argument to be made that that is exactly what I'm doing right now. I am doing these sessions for you, so that I get positioned as a thought leader. And so create content on your social media platform, on your personal profile, that basically make your prospects and your leads look up to you, follow you, comment on your content and your conversation. And so your blogs, all of those places, you position yourself as a thought leader. There are several ways to position yourself as a thought leader. One of the simplest ways to position yourself as a thought leader is to get external validation, right? So find an entity or a person that your prospects already respect, and then get validation from them. So as an example, one of the things that we do now at ClientJoy is the fact that I know for a fact that when you're watching this, all of you respect what G2 has to say, or all of you respect what Trustpilot has to say, or Capterra has to say, or Software Advice has to say. Depends on your preference. And so what we do is we get validation from them, right? So when the entity that you respects me, then by association I already acquire that position in your mind, right? And so figure out different ways of getting your prospects to look up to you. And this is, by the way, primarily how we buy things, right? So I also would want to buy things from people who I admire, right? And so it happens with everyone, and you should want to use it to your advantage. The third thing is offer free things to your clients, right? So and so free things don't necessarily mean that they have to cost you a lot. Free things are, depending on what you do, it could be very small and simple things. So I'll give you another example. One of the things that we did as an IT service agency was that we would offer audit for their hosting setup on AWS or Google Cloud, or Microsoft Azure, right? And so that was, let's say a $250 audit or a $500 audit, and we'd offer that for free. And so when people would come in and go for that audit, we'll go through their complete server and architecture setup, and then we'll give them a report. And that report would be a fairly detailed report. It costed us, by the way, even if they paid $500, it costed us more than $2,000 to actually generate the audit report. But then what it did was it built a very, very comprehensive case for them as to why should they go ahead with us, right? It also acted as a trust building activity. It also acted as a relationship starter. I could have much more bigger, better quality conversations with our prospects. And so we started offering those small audits as free. A couple of things that you could try is you could propose a 30-minute free consultation. You could do audits for free. You could build some amount of resources and then share it with them as well, or offer that for free to them as well. So figure out what is the lower hanging fruit, or something that has the lowest amount of friction as to why people would want to engage with you or get on a call with you or understand what you have to offer, and then do those things. You could do it for peanuts, or you could do it for free. So that's completely up to you, depending on offering, right? The other thing is practice consultation, and not sales, right? So people like to be helped and they don't like being sold to. So a good analogy is the way that, so if you have already positioned yourself as a thought leader, and if you're already offering free resources, or if you're already offering small audits, then think of it this way, that you are coming from a position of power, right? It's not a relationship between equals, because you have already delivered some amount of value through your thought leadership content or through the free resources that you were offering. You already have done some amount of cold calls to figure out what are the keywords, what are the positioning that works. You already have all of your assets ready. You already have a very good understanding of who your ideal client persona is, what are their pain points, what are the things that that they hear and they feel and they're afraid of. So you know all about them, right? So you are actually at the center of their universe. You're able to empathize with them, understand them. You're able to do all of those things. And so here's how you could consider practicing consultation, right? So think of the time when you visited a doctor, right? And the interaction that happened between you and your, and when I say doctor, I don't mean a surgeon, I mean a general physician, right? And so when you visit a doctor, and think of the interaction that you had with them, right? It's the same interaction that you can have with your prospects. So when you go to a doctor, there is already a power equation where the doctor is coming from a position of power already. They never try to sell to you. They never talk about, they never have testimonials of their ex patients. They never talk about the benefits and features of the medicines that they are prescribing to you or anything like that. You trust them already because you've worked with them before in some capacity. You've heard of other people who've liked this doctor before, and they consult you. They start by understanding what your problem is. So instead of instead of pitching their services, they directly start by asking, what is your problem, what happened, what were some of the things that you did, and then they start consulting you around that until they have a good grasp of what your problems are, and then they offer a solution. The solution part is only 5% of the whole conversation, or maybe 10% of the whole conversation. 90% of the conversation that you have with your doctor is about your problem and the things that led to the problem and the consequences of that problem, right? And so you want to typically practice this art of consultation instead of selling, since you're already coming in from some amount of position of power in that conversation as well, right? Bring in automation as much as possible, right? So integrate every tool that you're using. One of the things that I've found is that, and this is probably like a general mentality thing, but we don't think of paying people as expenses of the business, but we think of paying for softwares as a much bigger expense, right? So probably like $1 that you pay to a software feels like paying $10 to a team member, right? And so invest in whatever softwares, and go for a little higher price softwares. That's also completely fine, as long as it solves your use case, because the amount of time, the amount of energy, and the amount of money that it will end up saving for you is going to be disproportionately higher than having a person and then getting all of those things done as well, right? And the last bit is take a long term view, right? Don't think of doing all of these activities and then expecting results in a month or 2 months. It's a 6 month long project, probably a year long project, before you start receiving quality conversations. It will take some amount of time in building your reputation as a thought leader. It will take some amount of time in you understanding what your positioning should be. It will take some amount of time in figuring out what are the right questions to ask to identify their budget and authority and need and time. It will take some amount of time, and it's completely okay. Invest in activities that will offer you higher ROI over a longer term. Please don't be impatient. Don't start offering your services as an agency or a freelancer with the goal of doing $10,000 in 3 months. I know you will see a lot of YouTube videos about that, and you will see a lot of courses that are around that. Will take you to $50,000 in 6 months or something like that. Please don't fall for it. I strongly recommend that building an agency or a freelancing practice is actually a practice, and it will take some amount of time and it'll need some amount of patience. And so hang on to it and invest in things that will offer you higher ROI long term as well. And the last thing that I want to share with you is please remember that you don't need to be everywhere. Figure out what works for you, which channel works for you. Double down on the channel that gives you better ROI, and remember the note on which we started this conversation. Right, two quick things: offering good services is not a sufficient condition, is a necessary condition and not a sufficient condition. And the second thing is that you want to evaluate and you want to figure out whether you even need to generate more leads, right? And so if you don't need to generate a lot of leads at once, if you're not a 100 people agency with a 40 people sitting on the bench, if you're not in that position, and I hope you're not in that position, then please remember that you don't need to be everywhere. You want to experiment which channels work, what type of content works, but then once you figure out that this is what works for you, you just want to double down on that and then become better at it. If you think that you've mastered LinkedIn, there is more to learn. If you think that you've mastered YouTube, there's more to learn. If you think you've mastered Quora, there's more to learn. There's always more to learn. And so you'll always be able to get better at it. Now, as I promised to you at the start of this conversation, that I'll have some free resources for you towards the end of the session, and that's what it is. So we have a centralized curated free resource hub that you'll be able to find on clientjoy.io/universe. You'll be able to find more than 16 free resources, including 150 plus cold email templates, 300 plus Excel sheet templates, 700 plus PPT templates, 420 plus social media post ideas, 100 plus invoice templates, and so on and so forth. You'll be able to find all of those things in one single place. Just go to clientjoy.io/universe, figure out what resource do you need, put your email ID in, and we'll send that over to you right away as well. And I'll just take a couple of minutes to talk a little bit about ClientJoy and how it has it has helped in reducing turnaround times by 18%, and just by that improve conversion rate by 10% as well, right? So ClientJoy helps you, as I shared with you, ClientJoy helps you manage your sales pipeline visually. It helps you never let opportunities fall through the cracks. It helps you to create and send email sequences and create your booking engine, much like Calendly. All of that's already included in your ClientJoy account. You can get your quotes and proposals, documents, contracts e-signed using ClientJoy. You'll be able to build a completely custom white label client portal to work with your clients as well, that you can have 1,000 plus apps embedded, including your files, invoices, proposals, Airtable, Loom, Canva, YouTube, all of Google Data Studio, Figma, all of that can be embedded in your white labeled client portal as well. You can manage clients and their activities. You can engage with them. You always get paid on time, so because you can raise one-time split or recurring invoice with payment links. And if you're using Stripe, then you can also create subscriptions using ClientJoy invoices as well. You can schedule automated reminders with email templates with merge fields as well for your documents and for your invoices. And so this is a fundamental philosophy, right? So sum of parts is greater than parts of the sum. The fact that you're able to do all of these things and everything in one single place will offer you much more value than than doing this on 4 or 5 different platforms. This is one of the things that we've always thought about, and we've always figured that there are better CRMs that are available in the world. There are better document signing apps that are available in the world. There are better invoicing platforms that are available. There are better cold email engine that are available. But the fact that you can do all of those in one single place in a very nice, simple, robust user interface, that's what sets ClientJoy apart, right? And that's I think pretty much it. If you want to, you can consider joining our community on facebook.com/groups/clientjoy. We have about 1,600 agency owners who discuss their challenges across growth, fulfillment, and revenues. And you can be a part of those conversations. You can ask questions, you can offer solutions. And if you're into podcasts, we run a podcast called ClientJoy, the agency show, which you'll be able to find on Spotify, Google Podcast, everywhere, Apple, iTunes, whatever the case may be. That's pretty much it here, Vishwanath. I hope this was helpful. I'd be happy to answer any questions that people may have.
Yeah, this is very personally for me, for my agency also, it is very much helpful. I
Mhm.
think I need to watch this video again and again. Actually, I was watching here
Okay.
because here it is a small screen and I'm not able to manage it. So I was
Okay.
watching another screen
Okay.
at the same time and hearing it. Actually, yes, we have already seen a lot of resources on ClientJoy website,
Hmm.
like on Agency Advocate
Yeah.
and Universe,
Yeah.
those and all. I've been following some of them earlier, and I got some gap. Actually, I need to follow your advice seriously. And
Okay.
yes, actually, this is very pretty impactful, and I should say it's uh, quite zippy. Means you shared a lot of energy and your knowledge within span of 40 minutes. Thanks a lot
Oh,
for that.
thank you. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah. Thank you,
so I
Vishwanath.
think I need to watch the video again and again. Uh,
Sure. Yeah.
yes, and we also have some got questions from people
Okay.
already.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to say again, actually, I'm a ClientJoy user from 3 years, and he told a lot of features on ClientJoy, but I'm still using some of them. But I'm using invoices, customers, leads, proposals, those and all. Love these features actually. Just like you
Right.
can just add a lead, and you can convert them to customer just with a
Yeah.
click, and then you can send a proposal to them. If they accept, then you can convert that into a invoice with a click.
Yeah.
So you don't
Yeah.
need to manually input all these things again. And at the
Yeah.
same time, these days actually what I'm using very effectively is like split pay and recurring
Mhm.
pay.
Yeah.
Earlier, when I started agency, transition from freelancer to agency, I used to work as
Hmm.
full-time job as a financial FlexCube consultant, core banking consultant,
Okay.
and I used to work as a freelancer.
Mm.
So at that time, I got ClientJoy to manage my clients and to get the payments on time, because I
Oh.
used to forget some payments on clients. Like I used to design a website, host them, but I used to forget collecting the payments.
Yeah.
So there it helped me a lot actually. That's why I stick with it even after 3 years, and I see constant development and support. And actually you introduce a lot of what like cold emails and then booking scheduler. I think some other features I haven't used them
Yeah.
actually yet.
Yeah.
I've been thinking from time to time, like because I'm now I have a good strong team, agency team, who are working on the activities, operational activities daily. I'm
Okay.
more of into now consultant, business owner. I'm wearing some other hats, like I'm learning more and moving much more into marketing, sales, and management.
Okay.
So then I thought like I need to sit with my team and your team so that you people can demonstrate how to use those new features and how
Sure.
helpful will be. And yes, I think I will book a call soon when you permit
Absolutely.
your time or
Oh
your team.
no. We
Yeah,
use
here we have
ClientJoy.
some. Yeah.
No, I was just saying that we use ClientJoy to manage ClientJoy also, and so you can just go to our website, and then there's a button that says in the header that says Schedule Demo, and that is our public scheduler, which is what we've integrated on our
Okay.
website as well, which is what everyone uses to book a
Oh,
call. So you
sure.
don't need to, we don't need to play the email ping pong, back
Yes,
and
yes.
forth to identify a time. You can just go to that button, just book a time of your convenience, and we'll be there and we'll help you out. So and that's also one of the use cases of how you can use client as scheduler.
Yeah, yeah. And, thanks a lot for that. Actually, yes, I have seen that, but I haven't touched them. I don't know why.
Sure. No
Yeah,
worries.
I think this will be helpful anyway. And yes, we have questions already, so let's take them from start. Yeah. Hello, hello.
Hello.
Oh, yeah. Hi. Yes. Uh, yeah. This is about giveaway. I answered
Yeah.
in not yet. Maybe next time. Maybe in a week or
Yes, and
2 weeks. Yes.
we'll do a giveaway. So it was a but we will, Vishwanath, we'll figure out a way
Yeah,
and
yeah.
we'll do a
Actually,
giveaway in the coming time
we
as well.
yeah we planned this session hurriedly.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think next time. So okay. Yeah, yeah. Booking option in the platform.
Yes, Valentine Leong, you can book So you can basically create your public scheduler, and then you can embed it on websites, or you can share a public link of that with your prospects, leads, or clients, and get booked as well. I personally use that for getting booked with with the calls that I have with our users, with our investors, with all of those things. And if you want to see a demo of that, you can just, as I shared with Vishwanath earlier, you can just go to ClientJoy's website, click on get a demo, and in the header, and you'll go to a page where our own booking engine is embedded, and you'll be able to book a call. And so you can experience how it would feel like to your prospects or to your leads as well.
Yeah. So is this actually booking engine? Is it available in LTD?
Yes, it is available in the LTD.
Yeah. Okay. That's good to know. Actually, that's what I you are developing fast pacing the features. I'm yet
Yeah,
to cope up with that.
sure.
So retention of customers.
Great question here, Inderpreet. So a large number of customers actually break away from agencies and freelancers because of a lot of times, because of not being able to comprehend the reports, not being able to get updates on time, not feeling like they are in control of the project, and they always feel that grass is going to be greener with some other agency or some other freelancer. And so one of the ways, so that's one part of it. The second thing is that significant amount of business is acquired by freelancers and agencies by appearing bigger than they already are, right? And so one of the simplest ways in which we help in retention of your existing clients is just by the way of client portal. And so let's assume that you are developing a website for your clients, right? So let's assume that you're offering that as a service, that you develop websites for your clients. What you can do is you can firstly host the client portal on a custom domain. And so it could be, let's say, clients.inderpreet.com. That's where your clients go and log in. When they log in, they see your logo, and they see, let's say, 6 or 7 tabs in the header. They'll see your support ticket icon in the bottom right, which could be like the product, whatever it is. You could use free versions of Zendesk, Freshdesk, Talk.to, whatever the case is, Desku, or any popular lifetime deal as well. Embed that, use the JavaScript. So that is what they use to reach out to you in case if they have any challenges. And the 6 or 7 tabs that they see, let's say the first one is rank tracker or Google Data Studio or Google Analytics. So when they click on that, they get live. They always get real time analytics of their website. And then the second tab, let's say, is a project embed from ClickUp, right? And so when they click on that tab, they'll be able to see what is the status of the project, and which cards are like, which tasks are pending, which tasks are stuck, which tasks have already been completed. Let's say the third tab is the Files tab, which is essentially native ClientJoy functionality, which integrates with Google Drive, OneDrive, and of course you can upload as well. And so it's a shared file repository between you and the client. And so all the assets in terms of their logo and their copies and whatever photographs, whatever it is that they've shared for the website, is available over there. And then you can also upload everything that you want over there. The fourth one is documents. So all the contracts that you've signed, all the proposals that you've sent, all the quotes that you've sent are available in one single place for both you and for them. The fifth one is invoices. So all the invoices that you've raised and all the payments that they've made is also available over there. The sixth one is, let's say you are also doing digital marketing for them, and so you embedded a content calendar using Airtable, Infinity, whatever the case may be, or ClickUp for that matter. And so that's also so primarily what happens is that you and you can do this for all of your clients. It's super maintainable, super low requirement from your side. A lot of people don't need to be there on ClientJoy for you to be able to do this in real time. So your team is working in ClickUp. However, your client is always updated in ClientJoy. Your accounts team is raising invoices. They are able to see all the payments and pay the invoices within client portal. You are sending documents. You've already done Google Analytics integration, so it is already getting the data. So you don't need to send out email and WhatsApp for updates. And plus, there are very, very few agencies out there that will offer such comprehensive client collaboration space. That's primarily one of the ways in which we help in retention of clients.
Hey man, actually, I had the same question. Actually, I was sitting on some these things to build a client portal using ClientJoy. As I
Hmm.
discovered, I have been trying on it. Now, actually, you explained very well. So, thanks a lot. I think your knowledge is more valuable than ClientJoy itself. ClientJoy product. I'm talking about the
Oh no,
product.
I wouldn't.
Experience. I'm not talking about the team, something, those and all. The
Okay.
product actually,
Hey, thank
because
you, man.
I have that. I told right. I have got it from Gradle and I have some
Yeah,
of those things.
yeah,
But I'm effectively using only particular modules like invoicing,
correct,
leads, clients only, but not
correct.
with emails, engine,
Yeah,
this client portal. And all. So I think
yeah,
this is the right time. Yeah, I'm glad I actually have you are here for us. Thanks a lot again.
absolutely, yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. Anytime.
and yeah, and this is like find popular Upwork bidders.
Hey, I have never used Upwork in my life, and so I am the wrong person to answer this question. So I'll not pretend to give you a generic answer. I just say I don't know. This is something that I've never
Okay.
experienced in my life, and yeah. So sorry for that, but I'll not know anything about Upwork bidders. So Inderpreet says, can you share how to do cold emails that convert? So in the brief, that's a so I'm after this live, I'm going to have a conversation with Vishwanath as well, and we'll figure out a schedule for doing these live sessions. So we already have sessions that I could do around managing clients, around getting paid on time, around consultative selling, which was just one slide over here, but it's a 30 40 minute conversation. And one of the topics could also be building so how to do cold calling and how to build cold email lists. And I'd be happy to do that as a separate session, but that's a separate 40-minute conversation. I'll which like it cannot be a very short and crisp answer. So there are a lot of caveats and a lot of things. But Vishwanath, there I have a proper structure prepared for. So we didn't use Upwork, but we did a lot of cold email campaigns. And so I have a good framework prepared, and I'd be happy to do, let's say, sometime. We'll figure that out. We'll figure that out.
Yes, 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 please, yes, please. We are waiting. As in, actually, here I'm audience much more than host because I need
Okay.
this myself also.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah, and it is about client
Yes.
joy. I think
Yes,
yes,
it
it
is
is.
GDPR compliant, Valentine. We are GDPR compliant. Yes. How you think we can segment the audience on basis way
We
can
can
work?
work.
Okay. I didn't. Did you get
No, I
a?
think you told like a low ticket, big ticket, something like that, right? So
Yeah,
maybe
yeah,
that is
for
regarding the
sure.
same.
For sure, yeah. So the best way to go about it is so I tell it to you how to do it in ClientJoy, but even if you're not using ClientJoy, even if you're using Google Sheets, you'll be able to figure it out, right? So here's a process that you can implement. So what you do is for the first 5 leads or clients that you acquire, you create tags of each and every characteristic that they have, right? So as an example, the fact that they're B2B, the fact that their project size is higher than, let's say, $15,000, the fact that they are not from your country or from US or somewhere, the fact that they belong to a particular industry, the fact that this is the amount of time that they take, these are the expectations that they have, these are the hourly rates that they are ready to pay. So figure out what are all the characteristics that will define your clients, and then for the first 5 6 10 clients that you acquire, you apply tags to them, right? And then and this could be done in Google Sheet, this could be done in ClientJoy, this could be done in any CRM that you're using. And then what you do is slowly you identify which combination of those tags have similar behavior. So as an example, a low ticket client from India, so let's say a client that is paying you $5,000 a month or something like that in India, will have very similar behavior to a high ticket client in the US, which is, let's say, paying you $15,000. And so similarly, you can identify that, hey, clients that I have in food and beverages industry are very similar to the clients that I have in pharma industry in terms of their behavior, their purchase journey, their decision making process, whatever the case may be. I know that the clients from FNB are not same as pharma. I'm just giving you an example, right? So let's say you identify that these have similar purchase journeys, these have similar decision making processes, these have similar sort of budgets, these are the similar sort of timelines that they have. And then once you identify that these combination of tags have similar behaviors, you remove those tags, right? So you stop measuring those tags altogether. And so once you do that activity for a couple of months, what you will get at the end is, let's say, 20 clients and a list of 10 tags. And so like 10 characteristics, two or three are applied to each and every prospect or each and every client. And so then you'll also know that this is, if these two or three tags are applied to a particular lead, then this is how they are going to behave, right? And you train your salespeople or the people who are doing qualification on your side to apply the relevant tags going forward as well. And then you use that information to essentially get better at sales. But initially, you'll have to apply all the possible tags to all the possible clients that you have. You can use some amount of general, understanding that you have about the space as well, but that's an exercise that you can do. And again, it's not necessary that you can do this in ClientJoy, but it's not necessary that you do it in ClientJoy. You can do it in Google Sheets or any other CRM that you're using as well.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Sure.
Uh,
Ah.
White label client joy.
Hey Pankaj, yes. So this is a move that we made just yesterday. It was weeks in the making. We were so Pankaj. I tell it to you from my perspective. As ClientJoy, we've got to so it's not like we are not sustainable now, but we've got to get sustainable recurring revenues for the company so that we can attract the right kind of stakeholders, partners, investors, and so on and so forth. And so since last 2 years, we've been on a journey of going from lifetime deals to monthly recurring revenues, right? And so making white labeled, like branding plus is what we branding plus is what we call it. Making that taking that out from an add-on. So firstly taking that out of the LTD and then converting that into MRR is our first step. You will see in the next couple of months that so one of the things that we are considering right now, Pankaj, is that we will going forward, we'll say that LTD is only available for 5 people. If you want a sixth seat, then you have to pay MRR. And then slowly that 5 will come down to 3, and that 3 will come down to 1, and then LTD will go away completely. I think that's the best way to move in the direction where we go from a lifetime deal product to an MRR product. Probably that transition will take about 6 odd months or a year to happen, depending on the responses that we get from the community. But it's a move that we will consistently kind of make to make sure that we don't that we are not dependent only on LTD revenues. Currently, we have significant amount of funds that we've raised as a part of our equity round as well, and we have good LTD revenue every month. But we want to make sure that before things get dire, things get desperate, we want to make sure that we are able to move slowly and gradually to a monthly recurring sort of a price point.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good strategy. But actually, so it was live there yesterday, but it is not available today. Something like that.
Yeah, we made so it was available yesterday
Okay,
as a part of the LTD. But today we moved it. So it was $49 as an add-on, and now it's $9 per month. And so we made that
okay,
as a move. Yeah.
okay. So is there any discount for audience or somebody like on MRR, like lifetime discount or something like that?
Sure, we'll be so if you purchase an LTD and if you want the branding plus, what I do is Vishwanath, and you can comment this later on as well.
Yeah,
After like just an hour or so after the call, I'll prepare a coupon, and I'll offer it to you, which you can share in your community, right? And so that offers
yeah,
flat, let's say 10 or 15% discount on whatever it is that they purchase, right? And whenever they purchase. So whether they purchase lifetime deal, whether they purchase any MRR things, whether they add users at a later point of time, they'll be able to apply the same coupon every time, and they'll be able to get that discount.
yeah. Actually, yeah, I have that coupon. I think Pani
Oh,
PANI.
sure.
That
Awesome.
has been, yes, yeah. I've been sharing with
Perfect.
audience sometimes. Yes, yeah.
Perfect. Perfect.
Thank you. Thanks a lot again.
Hey, Pankaj, thanks. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, Free audits or deals are entry to our doors, so we can consider it very serious.
Yes,
I
you
think,
should consider it
yeah.
very, very seriously. For
Okay,
sure.
yeah,
And so I just to clarify, it's like I preach what I practice also, right? And so The fact that I'm also offering you free resources towards the end of the conversation is my free thing to you, right? So I'm offering something of value to you,
Yes.
and so that you carry a good impression of ClientJoy in your mind. You'll talk about ClientJoy to a couple of people. You'll share what we are trying to do at ClientJoy, right? And so you'll see everything that I've mentioned over here. You'll see all of them essentially being put into action also in terms of consultative selling, in terms of free resources, in terms of good, great support from the from the team,
Team.
and coming in from a position of power, establishing yourself as a thought leader. You'll see all of those things us doing as well. So yeah, for sure, it works.
Yes, actually, yes. That's I can see that from the starting, like agency, advocate, agency, universe, so many
Yeah,
things. We are
yeah, for
building
sure.
community around it. Yes.
Yeah,
ClientJoy versus sorry. Okay, yeah.
Descara and
What
Plutio.
is Descara and Plutio? Yes.
So you'll be able to find comparisons on comparison websites, right, between ClientJoy, Descara, as well as Plutio. If I were to sum it up, I think Descara is a super powerful platform, very well funded, good team, and so there are some small differences in features between ClientJoy and Descara. But honestly, I mean, if you're considering, if you think, so the only thing that you should consider for holding yourself back from Descara is that it could be a little intimidating for a small use case, right? So if you're a small agency or a freelancing practice, the amount of features that they offer is so much that it could get fairly intimidating fairly quickly. And I'll be very honest with you, right? The challenge with a software like ClientJoy or Descara or Plutio or anything for that matter is not the features or the price point. We are able to sell good software to good people, to good companies who genuinely want to use it. The challenge comes in adoption. And adoption is because people don't want to use softwares that will increase their cognitive load, right? That will have to make them think. You want to use simple things. But if that is not a challenge for you, if you have complicated workflows, if you want all of those things in one place, then Descara is a great platform here. It is good value for money. I think the last I heard, they raised about 180 million dollars. Singapore based company, India based founder. He's also a good friend of mine. And so you may want to look at Descara in that light. Super stable, lot of features, good limits. So do check it out. With
Yeah.
Plutio, I think the philosophy is a little different between what ClientJoy is trying to do and what Plutio is trying to do. Plutio is approaching this from an agency standpoint, and we don't know which is better. We'll see what happens. Maybe both of us can have a good time. Plutio is approaching it, in my experience and in my limited experience, and please don't quote me on that, but Pluto is approaching this from an agency standpoint, right? So it is looking at it from making life of the agency owner or the freelancer or the small business easy. We are looking
Easy.
at it more from the client management and the client relationship standpoint to make sure that you can acquire more clients or retain your existing clients. Now, that does not go to say that we will not look at the agency side of things and they will not look at the client management side of things. And things can change very quickly, very fast, very largely. However, but this is like the approach, difference in approach that I would say between Plutio and ClientJoy. And Descara, man, the only thing that you need to look at is that you like looking at a lot of features and a lot of possibilities. If you are okay with the software being a little, and they have good UI, right? So it looks nice. It's not like it's clunky or anything. It's super quick, robust, and we've used it for a while. So it has good UI as well. So the only call that you have to take, if it is between Descara and ClientJoy, if you're okay with having a lot of features that you might not end up using, just be there on the screen, then you should consider Descara. If you're looking for a simple, robust platform that adheres to your use case, then ClientJoy might be a good way to go. However, having said everything, I'd say that sign up and use all three platforms before you make any decision, Pankaj.
Yeah, and from My point of view, I have Deskera and ClientJoy also. I bought
Okay.
Deskera around 2 years back when they're on, yes, on AppSumo.
Yeah.
So actually, yeah, Deskera is complete business management ERP. It's like you can
Yeah.
have expenses, records, accounting, books, HR, payroll, and email marketing, inventory management, e-commerce builder. So there are a lot of things. Yeah, you have to decide like which one you want to focus. As yes says, it is very clear actually. So if you have a lot of features in front of you, it's you'll take a lot of time to get started with the tool.
Yeah.
But if it is simpler and if it is immediate need, you'll get to use it very quickly. So that
Yeah.
is my experience with, especially with these two, because I've been using ClientJoy and it is very simple, and it is having less features when compared to Deskera. But
Yeah.
that is the reason I got started with ClientJoy very easily, quickly, and I'm using it effectively.
Mhm.
Now I've been trying to use Deskera effectively. I'm using it, but not so effectively when compared to their features. So yeah, it takes time. So you have to decide, test it, try it yourself, and see what suits you. Yeah,
Yeah. Working with
and
same 4 to 7 clients, how to get out of um,
stuck in
strucking
session like a
situation.
loop,
Oh, okay. How to break from the loop.
loop. Yes.
Yeah, ask your existing clients for referrals. Yeah, ask your existing clients for referrals, and then so the best time to ask for referrals is when they're happy. So when you made a delivery and when they're in a good mood, just mention to them that, hey, if you could recommend us to a couple of people, that'd be great. Have conversations with your clients that are outside of the purview of your work and your reports as well. Try to get to know them as a person a little bit. Try to show your personal side to them as well. And build an individual relationship rather than it being a relationship between your organizations as well. But referrals is the best way,
Yeah.
right? So if you've been working with the same 4 to 7 clients, I'm assuming you've been working with them for over a year, and if they've stuck with you for a year, the least they can do is refer you to someone else. And assume, like, think of it this way: if all 7 of them give you a couple of referrals, you'll have 14 15 prospects, out of which if you convert 2 or 3 maybe, you go from 7 to 10, which is a 40% growth, right? Which is good. What according to you is the
Is
best thing to increase the email opening rate? So I'll tell you what. So like one of the my grandfather, I asked my grandfather when I was very young, what is the purpose of an envelope, right? And so he said to me that the purpose of the envelope is to be, when you send out a letter, right? So the purpose of an envelope is for it to be for the letter to be opened, right? That is the only purpose of the envelope. And so you use the envelope in a way, you write things on the envelope in a way that it'll increase the intrigue of the person who's received it, and the fact that they'll want to open and see what's written inside, and what is inside of an envelope. In modern context, that envelope is your subject line, right? So how do you don't want to overpromise, you don't want to use spam words. By the way, in the brief, we are coming out with an email subject line tester in a couple of weeks, which is going to be again a free sort of a micro tool that will be available on ClientJoy along with all the resources. So you can go and test out different subject lines and see what works. We will evaluate the subject line over, I think, 12 or 13 parameters, including spam words, length, understandability, grammar, and so on and so forth. And so you can check that out as well. But so the key is one, deliverability. What's the deliverability of your email? And second is the subject line. So deliverability, there's no negotiation or anything. It has to be 98% or higher. You can check your deliverability by signing up for an email warm-up tool. You will find email warm-up tools on LTD, on AppSumo or PitchGround or something like that. Sign up for any one of those and then put your email on warm-up and see what the deliverability is. It has to be 98% or higher. If that's not the case, then maybe a lot of your emails are going into spam. And the second thing is a good, intriguing subject line, a very creatively written subject line. That is primarily what gets you the open rate. Again, I've also done a video on this, which I'll again link in the comment once the live is over.
Sure, sure. Thank you. Yeah, I think yeah, giveaway.
We'll do that maybe sometime soon. Yes. Why ClientJoy when we all have ConvertKit? This question always comes from clients. So there's a huge difference between what ConvertKit offers and what ClientJoy offers. ConvertKit is something that we ourselves use. It's a very good platform, bootstrapped SaaS product, does more than I think 30 odd million in annual recurring revenue. And so the first thing why ConvertKit over ClientJoy is you'll not be able to raise invoices, you'll not be able to send documents to sign, you'll not be able to create a client portal, you'll not be able to do any of those things. So let me clarify. So ClientJoy is for you to build good relationship with your clients. ConvertKit is an email marketing solution for creators, right? And so both of them are very like they like ConvertKit and ClientJoy exist in different universes. We are a ConvertKit customer.
Yeah, that's actually precise answer.
Yeah. Is there a situation in future when email webhooks can integrate with platform without Pabbly and Zapier? But why do you want email webhooks to integrate when you can integrate your email natively? Right? So if you're using Outlook or Google, you can do a native two-click integration instead of using Zapier, Pabbly, webhook, or anything like that. So I think that's just way better.
Yeah, most valuable comment here.
Today's session is the giveaway. Oh my God! Thank you, Inderpreet. Thank you for the kind words. It gives meaning to the
Yeah,
work that we are doing at ClientJoy.
yeah. Thanks a lot, man.
Is there any way to get the white
Is there
label with
any?
LTD like you doing few days back because it's gone without any announcement? Pankaj, I just mentioned, just explained a little bit around that. It's not it's difficult because we are on our way to build MRR, and so it's a little difficult. Vishwanath, just
Yeah,
give me like 10 seconds. I have someone at the door. I'll just let them in. Is that okay?
yeah, yeah. Fine, fine.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
fine.
give me 10 seconds.
Yes, guys. Yeah, I think we can request them. Actually, I didn't know about this. Yeah, he's back.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, and
Um,
Chaitanya is talking about actually link joy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey, thanks, Chaitanya. Thank you. We just, by the way, recorded a video around deep linking earlier today. We're going to be editing that today and tomorrow, and then we'll put a like a proper tutorial for deep linking in by Wednesday or Thursday. Thanks, Chaitanya, for checking it out. Inderpreet saying amazing, amazing. Thank you.
he's amazing actually.
We, as a matter of fact, we just did recruitment of interns. They are going to join us first week of January. But thank you for saying that. It is I'll sleep like a baby tonight in the Preet. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah,
Okay.
big
You mean
budget
big
clients.
budget clients? I work with big clients; they're satisfied, but yeah. So big budget clients won't give you referrals, right? So for sure, yeah, that's a so breaking the mold with big budget clients is a little difficult. So big budget clients will not give you referrals, but they will always be in a position to give you more work. And so try and identify what are some of the other areas that they are facing challenges on that you can onboard. So for big budget clients, they typically have an onboarding process of vendors, and they have a vendor management system and so on and so forth. So it's very difficult for them to find new vendors. So replacing you is going to be difficult for them. And if they already have you, then they are also wanting to give you more work. So that's one thing that you could try. Second thing that you could try is identify other agencies who are also serving that big budget clients, right? So have conversation with your single point of spock or single point of contact over there, and then identify what other agency is working there, and then reach out to that agency and then partner up with them, right? You already have one case study of that big budget client where both of your agencies have worked together, and then use that relationship, and you refer other clients to this agency, like ask them to refer similar work to you. So with big budget clients, you can build case studies and build relationship with other agencies who they are already using, which are not competing with you, but serving the same sort of a target segment as you.
Yeah, I think he's asking about interns for
Oh, for school
school
students.
students. Is there any
Um,
way? Yeah.
it should be part of CBSE. Wow. Okay, so CBSE, for people who might not know, is the central board for secondary education over here in
School
India.
education. Yes.
Um, yeah, and so thank you, yeah, for saying that. I don't know how to react. I just blush.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, he has been very amazing and he is very active from throughout the end. Yeah,
Yeah,
throughout the session.
yeah,
Yeah, these are the questions we have for now today. I think
awesome.
it's been 1 hour and 15 minutes.
Yes, it's been some good time. So yeah,
Yeah, amazing time. Yes.
awesome, 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 awesome. Great, yeah.
Yeah, thanks a lot for that. And yes, you told some link towards the end. Something. I'm just reminding you. You told you are going to
Yeah,
share something.
no, I just said you can go to clientjoy.io/universe for all the free resources. That's primarily
Okay. Okay.
it.
Yeah. Let
The
me share
link,
that
acha, so the
directly.
link that I shared, I mentioned a couple of times. I'll be commenting that on the post itself, right? So
Okay.
those are the links of videos that are longer answers to the questions that have been asked over here. So I just post the
Okay.
links of those
Okay.
videos in the post itself, tagging the relevant people so they'll be able to find that.
Yeah. 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 Thanks a lot, Yash. And yeah, thanks
Thank you.
again for taking your time and teaching us valuable things. I say again, your knowledge and experience is much more valuable than uh, client product itself.
Oh,
I
please.
am not, again, I'm not talking about the team support value, those and all. I'm not talking about
Yeah.
it because I'm making money by using ClientJoy. I'm not
Mhm.
downvoting that. But yes, I think we'll be having more sessions if you
Thank
permit
you. Yeah.
if your time permits. Yes,
No,
I'm
absolutely.
looking
Yeah,
forward
for sure.
to, yeah, yes.
For sure, yeah. Thank you. Thank you,
Thanks
Vishwa,
a lot
for
then.
taking out the time. Thank you everyone for
Yeah,
joining in. It was a pleasure having a conversation with
yes,
you, and we'll be back again soon.
yeah. Thanks a lot.
Thanks,
Yeah,
yeah. Bye.
yeah. Take care. Bye. Thanks a lot, guys, for joining today. Yes, actually, I mean it when I say his knowledge is more valuable than ClientJai product. It's not that I'm downgrading ClientJai. I used it personally, and I think somewhere in my group also I have shared a screenshot of how much uh, income I managed on to earn and how many clients I have been managing with the help of ClientJai. It is very helpful and it works actually. And as you see, his knowledge and experience, it's when you combine a good product and get great team and founder, you are going to get some what's say effective outcome from your work. So go try ClientJoy, and if you have any questions and doubts, you can always ask in the group. Thanks a lot for joining today again. And yes, please share your feedback personally or an email or anywhere. I'm available. So I'm learning also. Yeah, day by day learning. So hope you enjoyed the session and worth your time and useful for your growth. See you soon next time. Take care.